Right now this morning, a controversial political ad hits our airwaves. Coming up, News 8's Ken Kozarowski on FCC rules for campaign ads. And a shipping strike is brewing. Coming up, how it could affect your package deliveries.
And plus, we have warmer weather today. First, we start off with some morning fog, and we get to the heat back into the afternoon, and the winds will be breezy. More about that coming up in my quick cast.
Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now, this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for starting your day with us on News 8 Now this morning. I'm Alexandra Carter.
And I'm Art Jarrett.
It is Monday, September 30th. As you said, Art, last day of September. September wants us to know it is a warm month, right?
September doesn't want to leave,
no.
Basically. Hey, the thing is, it's going to be a warm month. Yes, it is indeed. And that will continue all the way into tonight. Then changes up. It changes up or flips the script, if you want to call it that. And we'll get into some potential frost and some scattered frost early in the morning for some locations. That being said, we'll take a gander at what's going to be happening as we go in today. We'll go right into how this all plays out. We've got the cold front that's on its way, and then eventually we're going to start to see this cold front kind of slip over, mostly over in Canada. It will slide past this and bring in some cooler air back into our region there, and then from that we have warmer air as high pressure builds back, slowly but surely coming across the Four Corners region. It's going to usher in some mild weather, then it'll start to continue to hold on to that mild weather to finish out most of this week. That being said, there's a look at the cold front right up there. You can see it there, and we've got some dry slots coming in underneath, so it's not going to be a rainmaker for us because we have so much dry air working through the forecast region going into tonight as well. That being said, dense fog for your morning, warm temperatures for the day, breezing gusty winds, and those winds are going to get up to at least up to about 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts. We'll also be seeing this fog and low cloud activity. When I come back, I'll give you a better overview of how this will all play out for you. Back to you, my friend.
All right, Art, thank you. We'll see you in just a bit. This morning, millions of Americans in the southeast still without power after Helene blew through the region. This storm being blamed now for at least 116 deaths across half a dozen states. That number is expected to keep rising. CBS News' Nicole Valdez is in South Carolina with the latest.
Historic flooding from Helene submerged parts of western North Carolina underwater over the weekend.
There was a whole house right there.
This Marshall, North Carolina woman says she fled after the waters reached waist deep.
I was grabbing stuff. I have my 3 dogs in the car, and my car was like almost underwater.
The state's governor says rescue efforts are ongoing and that food, water, and supplies are being airlifted to those stuck in the hardest hit areas.
Oh, God.
This video shows the moment a bridge in Tennessee collapsed into rushing floodwaters.
She was ready to sink.
On Tybee Island in Georgia, this man who goes by Huck Finn and his dog Creedy are hoping high tide carries them back out to sea after strong winds from Helene stranded their boat on the side of the highway.
I thought we were supposed to die.
Here in South Carolina, the state's governor is urging residents to be patient, warning that downed power lines like this one has slowed down cleanup crews.
My cat is alive, my neighbors are alive, we are helping each other.
Massive recovery efforts are also underway in Florida.
We want to be helpful to get this debris.
While touring the devastation, the state's governor warned his state is not out of the woods just yet, with 2 more months left until hurricane season ends.
And President Joe Biden has declared a state of emergency for those southern states hardest hit by the storm. There are hundreds of FEMA officials also on the ground across the southeast. To the campaign trail now, former President Trump made a stop in Prairie du Chien over the weekend to deliver remarks on the U.S.-Mexico border and immigration. His 3rd visit to the Badger State since becoming the Republican nominee comes just weeks after an undocumented immigrant was arrested in the city. He's currently facing numerous charges, including sexual assault, strangulation, and battery.
This animal crossed Kamala's wide open border, along with hundreds of thousands of others that are worse than him,
Trump also said the situation on the border has worsened since the Biden administration. A third-party political campaign ad will start airing this morning on WKBT. Its content may be considered graphic, but as news anchor Ken Kozarowski explains, our station is legally required to air it.
Randall Terry is the Constitution Party candidate on the ballot for president in 13 states, including Wisconsin.
My mission is not to win. My mission is to cause Kamala to lose.
The longtime pro-life activist is courting 3% of African American and Catholic Democratic voters to keep the pro-abortion Kamala Harris from winning the White House.
Statistics show that when people see aborted babies, they react.
His latest 30-second ad shows images of aborted fetuses.
Imagine fighting anti-Semitism without showing pictures of Jews' bodies in Auschwitz. Graphic images are a part of how social revolutions take place. They must be used. They make us all uncomfortable, but they have a profound impact on the viewer.
Political ads are protected speech under the First Amendment, and federal law says broadcast TV stations like WKBT can't put any restrictions on that content.
First Amendment is all about creating that space for all types of ideas to be presented, and then for people to use their critical thinking abilities to assess the pros and cons.
These laws are the last bastion of free speech. I cannot compel any other form of communication to just say what I'm saying as a candidate, except for FCC licensed TV and radio stations.
Chergosky says such an ad can invite blowback on a candidate.
We have seen in the past that when a politician or a group crosses the line, it backfires and it makes their ideas less popular.
But Terry says he knows he's not going to be president, so the ad will do its job.
I'd have no fear of them backfiring, zero.
Terry's been airing the ad for roughly a week in markets across the state. Tomorrow night, vice presidential candidates Ohio Senator J.D. Vance and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz will face off in their first and only debate. Similar to the debate between Trump and Harris, there'll be no audience in attendance. Both candidates' microphones will remain on throughout the debate, with CBS News reserving the right to mute them if necessary. They're jumping right into questions, no opening statements. Vance won the coin toss, so he'll get the last word with the final closing statement. Time now is 6:07. Still ahead on your morning news. The FTC is cracking down on businesses that use deceptive AI. We'll explain. Mark Zuckerberg now worth $200 billion, and YouTube is in a legal music dispute. And a major port strike this week. It could start this week, preventing some foods and products from getting to retailers and getting to you. Coming up, more on how it could affect you. And for now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. What truly makes a city neighborly? According to a new national ranking, Madison's got it figured out. Mad City was just named the second most neighborly city in America by Neighbor.com. Only Colorado Springs ranked higher. The study looked at things like charitable giving, volunteering, and community involvement. Minneapolis also making the top 10, coming in at number 10. As you start to wake up this morning, leaving you with a quick wake-up call with the city that has the oldest public art museum west of the Mississippi River. Can you guess it? Sacramento, California. Stay with us. Your morning consumer news is coming up.
Chart your career with a fabricator position at Chart Industries. Starting wage up to $30 per hour with no experience necessary. Excellent pay and awesome benefits. Apply now at jobs.chartindustries.com.
My husband and I are going through IVF treatments now. It could be our only chance to have a family. But Donald Trump's plan could ban IVF in some states. My husband is in the military. He volunteered to serve. We are patriots and we go where he is assigned. What if we end up in a state where IVF is no longer legal? What will we do then?
I'm Kamala Harris and I approve this message.
Their Bidenomics led to the highest inflation in 40 years, highest gas prices ever, skyrocketing interest rates, unaffordable housing, incomes down, unemployment rising, and a recession now headed our way. Yet Kamala Harris is clueless.
We are very proud of Bidenomics. Bidenomics is working.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
It seems like everyone in Washington is either too far left or too far right. I'm Rebecca Cook, and like most folks in Wisconsin, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll stand up to Democrats to fight for a secure border and stop wasteful spending. I'll stand up to extremists like Derek Van Orden, who wants to ban all abortions with no exceptions. Like you, I'm fed up and ready for change. I approve this message because it's time that we sent one of us to Congress.
While families struggle to pay bills, Harris and the Democrats are wasting our tax dollars on their extreme liberal agenda, giving government checks to illegal immigrants, funding a Madison clinic where minors get transgender therapy without parents' consent, pushing high schools to allow boys to compete in girls' sports. Senator Baldwin fights for this madness. Tammy Baldwin, radical, extreme, and wrong.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
It can be backbreaking work all day, every day, pretty much on your feet. So it burns me up when Eric Hovde says people in Wisconsin don't work hard. The guy is a multi-millionaire California banker. He has absolutely no idea what we're going through. He's living the high life out there in a big fancy house. He even brags about being in the 1%. Listen, don't come here and tell us we're not working hard when we are just getting by. Eric Hovde doesn't respect us at all. The guy's a straight-up jerk. DSCC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Chart your career with a fabricator position at Chart Industries. Starting wage up to $30 per hour with no experience necessary. Excellent pay and awesome benefits. Apply now at jobs.chartindustries.com.
Well, good morning to you and happy Monday. Dense fog is part of our forecast today, as well as some patchy fog out there. Warm highs expected this afternoon, and some breezy and gusty winds begin to start to dust up once we get into the late afternoon, going into the evening hours, coming out of the south, then turning southwest, and then finishing out going through the night as well. Hey, we go right into the fog and low cloud activity. Not much up to the north, but you get down to the south here. Black River Falls, getting into Sparta, as well as portions of Viroqua down into areas by Boscobel where there is dense fog. Vogue Field, you've got some patchy fog. That'll all start to scoot over towards La Crosse, as you can see. And there's a big batch over there by Black River Falls extending out to Vogue Field and then well out to the east. That being said, we still see better visibility going on to La Crosse, but we know that once sometimes it says 12 miles of visibility, we could see some in our South Valley areas as well as the river valleys. That being said, the radar is dry right now. We have current temperatures. You're seeing 45 in Ladysmith, Eau Claire, 50, La Crosse at 56 degrees for the kids that are getting prepared to go to school today. We're also going to see the winds are going to be picking up. You can see them coming there out of the south, and eventually that's going to track closer to us. Right now they're calm, getting down to at least 7 miles per hour as you get into La Crosse, and then Viroqua at 6 miles per hour. That being said, take a gander at the winds gusting slowly but surely as it starts to cut across. 15-mile-per-hour winds down to 12-mile-per-hour winds, then it begins to back off. Eau Claire looking at a sunshine day as we go all the way from 8 a.m. getting into the afternoon, about 74 degrees to start. And then, of course, 8 a.m., 57 degrees for La Crosse, getting to noon, about 74 degrees. So get out and enjoy it if you can. It's going to be a very special day. Get out and enjoy it, as I mentioned, and be safe, please. I'll be back in just a moment.
In your consumer news this morning, the Federal Trade Commission is cracking down on businesses that use deceptive artificial intelligence to lure consumers. In a new law enforcement sweep, Operation AI Comply, the FTC took action against companies it said used AI to trick, mislead, or defraud. The alleged schemes included use of an AI tool that enabled customers to create fake reviews, advertising for the world's first AI lawyer, and AI-assisted e-commerce businesses, all of which are illegal, failed to deliver, and defrauded consumers of millions of dollars. Mark Zuckerberg just became a member of the ultra-exclusive 200 billionaire club. The Meta CEO now reportedly has a net worth of $200 billion or more. The boost came largely by a spike in Meta stock of nearly 60% this year to more than $560 a share. Zuckerberg joins Tesla CEO Elon Musk and Amazon's founder Jeff Bezos as the only humans on the planet to be part of that club. Songs by Adele, Bob Dylan, Green Day, and many more are blocked by YouTube in a legal dispute with the performing rights organization SESAC. A similar dispute between Universal Music Group and TikTok earlier this year raged on for several months before it was resolved. A YouTube rep said they were not able to reach an agreement with SESAC before the current agreement expired, despite their best efforts. Americans may soon have trouble finding some of their favorite foods and popular products. A major port strike could start this week, preventing these items from getting to retailers. John Lawrence reports.
Days after Congress prevented a government shutdown, the U.S. economy is facing another potential challenge this week. Union workers at 36 facilities covered by 14 port authorities from Maine to Texas are threatening to walk off the job.
We're really going to start feeling this impact pretty quickly if this strike goes through.
The deadline is 12:01 a.m. Eastern Tuesday, and it could be the most disruptive strike the U.S. has seen in nearly 5 decades.
Anything beyond 2 weeks is going to be very, very, very disruptive.
Economists say the potential strike would impact supplies of items like chocolate, alcohol, fruits, hot peppers, and European cars.
A lot of the parts that would be needed to produce vehicles, let's say towards the end of this month, will be on those boats right now. And so if those don't get unloaded, you start having sporadic plant slowdowns.
The International Longshoremen's Association is calling for a $5 per hour pay hike per year over a 6-year contract, raising the top hourly wage from $39 to $69 and keeping its current ban on fully automated equipment. If there is one way for consumers to look at this economic glass as half full, there will be plenty of gifts in stores this December.
Since this was an event that we knew could potentially happen, a lot of retailers were bringing in these holiday items ahead of time.
Economists estimate a week-long strike could reduce U.S. GDP by up to $4.5 to $7.5 billion, or 0.1% annualized for every week it continues. That's it for your morning consumer news. Let's check in now with News 8 meteorologist Art Jarrett for a look at our forecast.
Alexander, we get into it here. You're going to hold on to temperatures that are going to warm it up today. We have some dense fog out there as well and some patchy fog. Please holding on going into the morning hours. We're also going to be seeing this warm air get away once we get into tomorrow morning, with the potential for frost coming back in the morning for Tuesday. Then we'll see temperatures get back into the mild to finish out the remainder of the week. Hey, current temperatures for you right now, as I mentioned before, low 40s getting up to some 50s and some middle 50s down to the south there into the central area. Here's that look at the cold front that's going to be slipping across the area and working across from west to east. That's going to usher in some cooler air, maybe even bring a little bit of light rainfall to the area. Right now it's maybe about a 10% chance or so. You see most of it's going to brush the top tier of Wisconsin, and then it gets out of the way. There may be some light moisture that comes in, sneaks around as we go through Tuesday, but for now it looks like it may go a little bit more to the east. That being said, we added some clouds going into the nighttime for Tuesday, and then eventually we'll see that clear out for more sunshine on the way. We have Sky Tracker holding on to sunny skies today. That'll continue all the way to the 12 o'clock hour, going into the 1 o'clock hour, and then that cold front, as I mentioned, will also bring that cold air. Some chilly air will come in quick in the early morning, some potential frost, also a scattered round of frost as well. That gets out of the way. Mild holds on again as we go back into, at least as we go deeper into Wednesday. You see that coming in and then starting to scatter out a little bit more so, but we still have it with a nice little zonal flow, near zonal flow, starting to cut across the northern tier of the United States. So that means breezy and gusty winds also starting to work in our favor here. We'll also be seeing some 70s, some 80s today, about 84 in Boscobel, one of the warm spots today. La Crosse at 82, 83 down in New Albany. And in fact, you'll get into this evening, temperatures still holding on to the 70s going to the 8 o'clock hour. Then we start to cool it on down to the low 70s and then get into the 60s to finish out. But again, we're looking at temperatures going from 82 today, 67 degrees tomorrow, and we also have those morning temperatures in the 40s. So that means colder temperatures expected up to the north, and of course we may see that in areas that may pick up a little patchy fog like Sparta, possibly areas by Black River Falls as well. That being said, mild conditions will continue to ensue as we finish out most of the work week and then going into next week as well. Back to you.
Thank you, Art. The time now is 6:19. Still ahead on your morning news. Can music help kids fighting cancer? On this last day of Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month, we'll show you how hospitals are using melody as medicine.
Coming up in the Blitz, the Packers and Vikings vying for a top spot in the NFC North standings yesterday. Highlights in a live report from Lambeau coming your way shortly.
Is your personal injury lawyer trying to sell you a settlement that you don't think is fair? You need a lawyer who won't settle your case just to move on to the next one. Get the full compensation you deserve. Get Bygoff and Rohde.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Fentanyl is killing over 1,000 people a year in Wisconsin. New reporting shows that Eric Hovde is doing business with a bank accused of links to the Mexican drug cartel. Banco Azteca loaded up $26 million in cash and flew it to Eric Hovde's bank in California. Other U.S. banks have cut ties with this Mexican bank, but Eric Hovde took their money. That's 26 million more reasons you can't trust Eric Hovde.
Your home, a place of comfort and safety, could be trying to tell you something. Interior cracks, sloping floors, hard to open doors and windows are all signals of foundation failure that you can't ignore. Choose American Waterworks.
When I walked into these old buildings 35 years ago, I never imagined it would look like this. I never imagined we'd serve 12,000 homeowners. I never imagined I'd celebrate my 80th birthday here, and I never imagined that my then 10-year-old daughter would become the new general manager. But here we are, solid as a rock, carrying on a tradition of exceptional quality and service.
Celebrate our 35 years with your savings on new windows and doors, bathroom or kitchen, siding, sunroom or deck.
You just have to get in the seat of a John Deere Gator XUV 835M, not because of the spacious cargo box, or because it can tackle any terrain. Not even because it tows up to 4,000 pounds. You just have to get in the seat because something about being this productive just makes you smile.
Visit Tractor Central, take a seat, and see for yourself why nothing runs like a Deere. Start now at TractorCentral.com.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
We found out our baby had severe fetal abnormalities and that my life was at risk. But Wisconsin Republicans' extreme abortion ban forced us to leave the state to get the care that I needed. It was a nightmare. Eric Hovde pushed to end Roe v. Wade. And in the Senate, Hovde would give Mitch McConnell the majority to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape, incest, or the health of women like me. What is wrong with these guys?
When I called other lawyers, I wasn't even sure who was going to be representing me. Once I called BGR and talked to Brian, I felt secure immediately. I'm so glad that I called Bygoff and Rohde.
The Blitz. Well, each of the last 4 years, the Packers and Vikings have split the regular season series. It's been a fairly even go of it as of late. An important early season matchup in Lambeau yesterday. Green Bay hoping to hand Minnesota their first loss of the season, but it was a dream start for the Vikings. Just over 3 minutes into the game, it's Sam Darnold dropping one into the bucket to Jordan Addison to get the scoring started. And 21-0 in favor of the Vikes in the second quarter when Jordan Love's pass going to be picked off by Shaquille Griffin. He returns it inside the 5-yard line, and things would go from bad to worse for the green and gold. No Jair Alexander in the secondary to line up across from Justin Jefferson, and here Jay Jettas wins his matchup against Keyshawn Nixon, and that makes it 28-zip Vikings. Packers trying to get some momentum back here before the halftime, and Jordan Love is going to drop a dime to Jaden Reed. The second-year wideout makes a great contested catch to get the home side on the board. Then fast forward to the fourth quarter, it starts to get interesting. Love hits Tucker Kraft, and he is not going down easily. He barrels his way into the pylon. That's another score. Then a minute left in the game. Green Bay inches even closer. It's Love surveying the field and finding Dontavian Wicks across the middle for his second touchdown of the day. So the Packers need an onside kick to keep their hopes alive, but it's recovered by the Vikings. Sloppy game, 5 turnovers for the Packers and 2 missed field goals by Braden Narvison. And our own Kate Overton was there and has the full post-game report.
Yeah, Jacob, it was an electric atmosphere here in Green Bay, but the Packer comeback fell just short. Jordan Love was making his first start since getting injured in Week 1, and there were a lot of question marks on how he would hold up as he was facing a Viking defense that had been dominant early in the season. Minnesota entered the contest only giving up 10 points a game, and they kept that momentum rolling early in Lambeau, holding the Packers to just 7 first-half points. Love would finish 32 of 54, throwing 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. The Packers needed a lot of second-half points, but the comeback would fall short. Maybe not the return he wanted, but it's a step forward to the remainder of the season.
Just wasn't playing well enough. I think ball placement was a little all over the place today, kind of throughout the whole game, and I think it picked up later, but yeah, I think early on just missed a couple throws and was a little bit off, and made it hard on some of the receivers on some of those plays.
2 missed field goals, 8 penalties, a number of drop passes, and 4 turnovers also slowed the Packer offense, leading to their 5th loss against the Vikings in their last 8 matchups.
In the NFL, like the margin for error is just so low. And we just got to come out there and compete with relentless effort, play after play. And we just made mistakes. You can't do that.
On the defensive side of the ball, the Packers came out flat, and the Vikings took advantage. Minnesota scored a touchdown on 3 of their first 4 drives, with Sam Darnold starting 10 of 13 for 130 yards and 3 touchdowns. By the time the Packer offense got going, the game was nearly out of reach.
No, they just outplaying us. That's just simple as that. We bounced back in the second half, but can't start slow in the division. That's just how it goes.
These 2 teams won't go again until December 29th, and when they do, I have a feeling there are going to be some playoff implications at stake. But there's a long season until then, and a lot of things could change. Reporting in Green Bay, Kate Overton, News 8 Now.
All right, good stuff, Kate. Also this week, postseason baseball, the Brewers will be taking on either the D-backs or Mets on Tuesday for Game 1 of the NL Wild Card Series. Thunder for the Blitz, we'll see you tonight.
This campaign ad may be disturbing to viewers. Federal law requires the station give reasonable access to legally qualified candidates for federal elective office. Accordingly, the station may not reject or censor the content of this ad.
Catholics, I'm talking to you. Jesus said that what we do to his brethren, we do to him. If we hurt children, we're better off with millstones tied around our necks and drowned in the sea. It's like voting for someone who would kill Jesus in the womb. Like Jesus said, they deserve millstones, not our votes. If you are a Catholic, act like one with your vote.
I'm Randall Terry, and I approve this message.
Join today's shoppers as they explore Sweet Valley Artisans.
There's so many good things here. How do you pick just one? You don't.
I've been looking for something to hang in my garage. What about this? Or this?
Vintage clothing and accessories? Let's check it out. Have you found anything yet?
Yeah?
I'm getting hungry just looking at this. I know what you mean.
Stop in and find your treasure today.
A suspected Venezuelan gang member who was arrested for domestic battery.
Violently attacked a woman physically and sexually.
The border crisis is real here in Wisconsin.
It's criminal gangs harming our community.
We're stretched thin. Open borders and weak politicians are crushing us.
Rebecca Cook is one of them. She doesn't back law enforcement. She'll never secure the border. She doesn't even want to.
That's why we stand with Derek Van Orton. He has our back.
And I've got yours. I'm Derek Van Orton, and I approve this message.
Maxwell White, done right.
Maxwell White Plumbing proudly announces our first annual food drive in celebration of being in business for 30 years and our commitment to the communities we serve. From October 1st to 31st, we're partnering with the La Crosse Hunger Task Force. Donate while our professionals are at your home, at our West Salem location, or directly to the Hunger Task Force in La Crosse. As a thank you, get $15 off your service, and we'll donate an additional $15 on your behalf. Join us in making a difference this October.
Taco John's new 2 for $5 Fiesta Chicken Tacos are here to Fiesta. Grilled all white-made chicken is here to Fiesta. And creamy Fiesta sauce is obviously here to Fiesta. That's kind of its thing. New 2 for $5 Fiesta Chicken Tacos at Taco John's.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. These places employ us, sponsor the Little League team, and feed and clothe us. That's why I'm proud of the work I've done to support our business community. I know that the side of the aisle you're on matters less than being on the side of our main streets. No party has a monopoly on good ideas. I'm Steve Doyle, and I'm working for our businesses, working for our communities, and I'm working for you.
As the mom of a daughter, I'm livid that boys are now being allowed to compete in girls' sports. It's just wrong, and I blame Tammy Baldwin. She voted to let biological men into women's sports. Worse, Baldwin co-sponsored legislation to force girls to share locker rooms with biological men. Tammy Baldwin is failing to keep our families safe. Tammy Baldwin's extreme values are wrong for Wisconsin. Fix Washington PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Darling, I believe everything's gonna be alright. No need to worry because you got somebody on your side. We all need a fam, we all need a crew. When you're in a jam, don't know what to do. Just reach out your hand and we'll see you through. Doesn't matter where you're at, we got your back. We got your back.
With a Medica health plan, you're not just covered, you're cared for.
We got your back.
You're watching News 8 Now. Expect more.
In your morning medical news, a new study reveals a disturbing link between social media and child sexual assault. Researchers found that 7% of children treated for sexual assault at a California hospital met their attacker online. Experts warn social media can create a false sense of security for kids. They're urging parents to closely monitor your children's online interactions. And free COVID tests are available once again. In the 7th round, each household can get 4 at-home test kits. The U.S. Postal Service will ship them for you this week at no cost. If you haven't ordered yet and you want to, visit covidtest.gov or call the number on your screen. Today is the last day of Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. Hospitals across the country are tapping into the healing power of music to help sweeten the tune of treatment for some of their youngest patients. But researchers at one hospital in New York are hoping new research can help make music therapy more accessible, as CBS's Jared Hill explains.
A 1, 2, a 1, 2.
Sometimes a jam session is just what the doctor ordered.
It really just helps me relax.
Emma Zonizer is a little kid with a lot going on. She was diagnosed with neuroblastoma, a common type of pediatric cancer, in February of 2020. Now, just 10 years old, music therapy, especially this kind, is helping her find something else to focus on.
What do you like about improvising?
No rules.
No rules.
We know that it can certainly help with coping.
Karen Popkin is a music therapist with MSK Kids. At the New York City Hospital, she and other music therapists mix in a dose of melody to the medicine for pediatric patients.
Being able to be creative, to make your sound in the world, is one way to stay true to who you are, no matter what you're going through.
Researchers at Memorial Sloan Kettering are also studying the effectiveness of music therapy compared to traditional talk therapy, even after cancer treatment is finished.
A lot of research have demonstrated cancer survivors continue to feel high level of anxiety, symptoms of trauma, fear of recurrence. Those psychological symptoms are not adequately managed.
They think the universal nature of music can help people who may not be interested in talking out their feelings. They also hope this research leads to more insurance coverage for music therapy.
I like doing it with another person, like feeling the flow of the music.
Composing more moments like this.
The American Cancer Society estimates about 9,600 American children younger than 15 will be diagnosed with cancer in 2024 alone. Purple filled Winona's Lake Park this weekend as the community united against Alzheimer's disease. The Walk to End Alzheimer's stepped off at JC's Pavilion. Every step taken on the mile-long walk and dollar raised goes to the Alzheimer's Association, funding vital care and research. For many in the crowd, this fight is personal.
This cause is so meaningful to me. My grandpa had dementia and Alzheimer's, and I just really walked to honor him. He passed away a couple of years ago, so I just want to walk to honor him.
Organizers say the walk raised more than $50,000. The Warrens Cranberry Festival wrapped up its 51st year yesterday, capping off the celebration with its signature parade. Marching bands, drill teams, and local groups took to the streets for that, entertaining thousands of spectators. It's a long way from the festival's 3,000-person debut in 1973. This year drew more than 100,000 visitors.
I'm very excited to see her, and we had a lot of fun when she was in the parade at the 4th of July, so this is a nice follow-up to see how much the band has improved.
The festival's mission is to promote the common good and welfare of the Warrens community. And Oktoberfest final day kicked off with a beloved tradition, the annual Parade Marshal Pancake Breakfast. Former parade marshals served up a feast of pancakes, sausage, and orange juice. This long-standing event does more than just fill bellies. Organizers say it brings the community together one last time before the festival ends.
Just a fun day, and for all of us parade marshals to come together to put on a nice event for the community.
The breakfast raises money for Oktoberfest parade marshals and the North La Crosse Business Association. A new exhibit on Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C. is pulling the curtain back on what goes on behind the portico and pillars of the White House. CBS's Erica Brown went inside.
Very few Americans get invited to a White House state dinner, and fewer still will ever sit behind the president's desk. But this new exhibit, with a full-scale replica of the Oval Office, gives new meaning to the People's House.
It's got so many bells and whistles to it, a really good way for people to learn.
Just a block away from the real White House, visitors will find 3 floors of cutting-edge technology where they can see themselves in the daily activities of the iconic government building that serves as a home, office, ceremonial stage, and museum.
Visitors can also experience what it's like to walk along the White House West Colonnade. This 45-second commute connects the West Wing, where the president works, to the executive residence where the president lives.
It's very tactile, very hands-on.
Stuart McLaurin is president of the White House Historical Association and says work on the exhibit began in 2022. In this presidential election season, he invites guests to feel the gravity of the executive office.
We want you to understand and respect power not just as a tool to wage influence over people, but as a tool to shape the future of our country.
Paul Suarez is here with his family for a look at the replica Cesar Chavez bust he created. His original sits behind President Biden's desk.
It's definitely inspiring, you know, and it's kind of emotional, right? It's our history, and this will probably be as close as I'll ever get to the real White House.
And when the next president moves in, this Oval Office will also get a matching makeover.
Pretty cool. Tickets to the People's House exhibit are free, but visitors must reserve a day and time slot online. Time now is 6:37. Let's check back in with Art to tell us what to expect on our Monday morning commute.
Alexandra, I like the cherry blossoms you have behind him there, also outside. Hey, as you take a look here, dense fog, Apache fog as well for your morning commute today. Kiddos heading out to school. It's going to be a little bit on the cool to mild side right now. While you're looking at a warm afternoon, though, coming in with the highs going to be at least in the upper 70s to the low to middle 80s. Breezy and gusty winds happening today as well. Winds gusting up to 20 to 30 miles per hour. You also see maybe some sustained winds up to about 14 miles per hour. Here's a look at your patchy fog right about now, getting into the areas of Oakfield, extending out to Sparta as well. We probably see that down in Boscobel, where they have dense fog currently, and Decorah holding on to near dense fog. This will continue to work again on areas right by Black River Falls. You can also see it down by Caledonia, and then getting into Lansing and all the Prairie du Chien as well. We do have some of that fog in our river valleys as well as portions in our south valleys as well. We're getting into at least some drier conditions. The radar is dry. Current temperatures in the 40s and the 50s. Not much change how we've been seeing, and then holding on. We're looking at again the winds picking up as we go. You see them all to the west, but eventually right now we're holding on to the calm, hence the fog. We'll also push this a little bit faster here, so you can see this getting up to 14 miles per hour, getting into areas by La Crosse, and we'll see winds getting up to about 12 plus in some cases. Back to you, my friend.
Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
All right, Ashlyn is turning 8 years old today. She enjoys riding her bike and spending time with her family.
Happy birthday to her, and happy birthday to Amelia, also turning 8. She loves being around her pet Bunny and is always on the go.
All right, if you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old, we'd love to feature them.
Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for the Submit Pictures button underneath the Home tab. Coming up, unraveling the mystery of PCOS. We'll explore what it is, how to spot it, and what it means for your health and fertility.
Here at The Y, we offer more than just a job. We offer the chance to make a difference in a fun, flexible environment where our mission and core values drive every decision we make. Join us in this amazing work. For specific positions and details, visit our website.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Fentanyl is killing over 1,000 people a year in Wisconsin. New reporting shows that Eric Hovde is doing business with a bank accused of links to the Mexican drug cartel. Banco Azteca loaded up $26 million in cash and flew it to Eric Hovde's bank in California. Other U.S. banks have cut ties with this Mexican bank, but Eric Hovde took their money. That's 26 million more reasons you can't trust Eric Hovde.
For over 5 decades, Jim's Truck and Trailer in Winona has been your solution for everything transportation related. In 1971, my dad Jim recognized truckers and families needed a reliable partner who will have their vehicle road ready. Still family owned and operated, our mission has never wavered. Whether your ride is a truck and trailer, auto transportator, charter bus, or RV, Jim's Truck and Trailer's fleet of ASC certified technicians can handle any issue or upgrade. Jim's Truck and Trailer Coachworks. Repair, refinish, remarkable.
You've probably seen all these negative ads against me. Well, here's the deal. They are designed to tear us apart. But here's the truth. My life's work has been fighting on behalf of others. It's why I became a prosecutor, district attorney, and attorney general. I took on drug cartels and human traffickers to protect our communities. Look, everyone is tired of the petty, destructive politics. Let's turn the page and chart a new way forward. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
At Overhead Door Company, we repair any garage door and only install the best. Serving up to 100 miles outside of the Onalaska, Wisconsin area. When you need a door company you can trust with your life, call Overhead Door Company of the Seven Rivers region.
2 pancakes, a fresh egg, and 2 strips for under $5?
3 pancakes, 2 eggs, and strips, all for under $7.
A full breakfast with eggs, bacon, and pancakes, starting at $4.99, only at Perkins.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
It's hard to believe, but it's true. Even the liberal media was shocked Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners and illegal aliens.
Every transgender inmate would have access.
Kamala's for they, them. President Trump is for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Here at The Y, we offer more than just a job. Experience the personal satisfaction that comes from nurturing the potential of youth and teens, improving our community's health and well-being, and providing support to our neighbors. Join us in this amazing work.
All right, I want to take you out to the side. I want to give you a view of what's happening out there right now. I've got the time lapse on starting at 5 o'clock this morning. There's your fog coming across the river valleys there, cutting right in. And out in the distance, a little bit of haze, also maybe a little bit extra fog coming over some of the mountains there. In fact, what you're going to be seeing, fog will be clearing as we get into at least the 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock hour. It'll get out of the way. Warmer temperatures will ensue for us in the afternoon, where we're going to see highs up from 79 to at least getting up to about 84 degrees today. We also have breezy and gusty winds expected. Winds will get up to 14 miles per hour sustained, so that makes us breezy, and then gusty winds getting up to 20 to 30 miles per hour. That'll come in the late afternoon, going all the way into the evening hours and possibly into tonight. We'll see some of those winds come back again for Tuesday and Wednesdays to stay breezy. Why? Because we've got this cold front that's on the way. Take a look at it as it slings across. You're going to be seeing mostly brushing the northern tier, but it's also overhanging down into areas right through Minnesota as well as Iowa, and then kind of moving back. There's the tail end of that with the cloud cover associated with that. that. So it's going to usher in some cooler air. Temperatures will drop down, some maybe into some 30s. We may see some temperatures getting down to at least frost potential possibly, and some scattered frost could ensue. We'll carry over through Tuesday. You'll see this system get out of the way. Temperatures will slowly respond, even though we'll load up some clouds as well. But we're looking at least some temperatures holding on to about 67 for our highs for tomorrow. For now, though, getting into the 10 o'clock hour, we'll see temperatures in the 60s widespread, then it gets into the 70s once we get into the noon hour, and then once we see how this all plays out over the next few days. Not much rainfall. It says we may see maybe a 10% chance for Tuesday, but I'm not seeing anything thus far. But as we carry over going into Wednesday, we're kind of dry. But take a look at this. You'll see the mild conditions right now, and then that'll get out of the way eventually. You've got the colder air well to the north, so that'll put us in the chilly, and eventually we'll see temperatures changing from mild to at least getting into out of the area, holding on to the remainder of the week, and then holding on with some breezy and gusty winds going through Wednesday. Here's a look at the rain tracker here. This is from, say, Thursday night going into Friday around 10 p.m. You're going to be seeing some of that rainfall slowly but surely kind of sliding into the forecast and filling in as we go into the next few days. So we'll add a few clouds on there for you. Look at what's happening out in the Atlantic. Yeah, it's getting kind of busy out there right about now. Most of those look like fish storms right now, but we'll keep an eye on them to see how they play out for us. That being said, you can see them getting a little bit closer to shore. However, we get into the highs for Monday, 79 to 76 or so to about 84 degrees. You get into this evening, 70s, mostly some 60s to finish out as well. Then you're going to hold on to temperatures like this, 82 today, 67 degrees tomorrow. Look at our lows for tomorrow, 45 degrees. We'll see some cooler conditions up to the north, or even chillier conditions to the north, and then we'll ensue with more of those 70s coming back into the forecast. Back to you.
September is PCOS Awareness Month. We're joined for this Mindful Monday discussion by Dr. Pamela Rice, OBGYN at Winona Health. Good morning, Dr. Rice. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good morning.
Nice to see you. So just start, you know, PCOS is an acronym that we hear a lot, but I think maybe a lot of people may not know what it is. So what should we know about the condition?
So PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it's important to know that it's common, it's treatable, and it's important to get that correct diagnosis if a patient has it.
Okay, yeah, and so what are some of those symptoms we should be aware of?
Yeah, so the symptoms that patients should be on the lookout for is late onset signs of hyperandrogenism, and by that we mean evidence of male hormone influence in women.
Okay.
So things like increased adult onset acne, growth of hair in a male distribution, such as increased hair on the chin, down the middle of the chest.
Things like that. Okay, and we had some of the other symptoms up on our screen now for people to look at. And so if women are experiencing some of these symptoms, what should we do? What's that first step?
Yes, so I think the important step to that is to seek help from a healthcare provider to get that diagnosis made.
Yep.
So there's different criteria for making the diagnosis, and several different organizations have different criteria.
Okay.
But the most commonly accepted group of criteria are called the Rotterdam criteria. That was a group of endocrinologists who came up with the criteria they wanted to have people make that diagnosis.
Okay.
So the three steps to it primarily are signs of hyperandrogenism, as we discussed, irregular periods, which are due to irregular ovulation.
Okay.
And the third criteria for patients can be on ultrasound, finding multiple little cysts around one or both of the ovaries.
Okay, and so you did mention it is treatable. What are some of those treatment options?
So the treatment options should really be tailored to the patient's desires at the time. So some patients' goal is to seek fertility. They can have difficulty with that because they may not be ovulating on a regular basis.
Okay.
So those patients are candidates for ovulation induction agents.
Okay.
Some patients don't have that as their primary goal at the time. So it can be to restore having a regular cycle. It can be to treat the signs of hyperandrogenism, and really to just maintain general good health. So we know that it is associated with an increased risk of uterine cancer. And so one of our goals is to help people preserve their health as well.
Okay, yeah, excellent. So as you did mention, a common belief is that PCOS could cause infertility, or maybe that they are linked there. What is the truth there, and what should people know about that?
It definitely can be linked because it prevents women from having regular ovulation.
Right.
So women who don't ovulate on that regular basis can have difficulty becoming pregnant either for the timing of their ovulation or lacking it altogether. So the ovulation induction agents can help overcome that.
Okay, great. So there is a link, but nothing to be too concerned about, right? Talk to your
Correct.
doctor.
It's treatable. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
awesome. And yeah, so any women going through this, I guess your advice would just be to find a good healthcare provider they can speak with?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Anything else you want people to know about it?
I think people should know that it's common, it's treatable, and that I think the patient's treatment plan should be tailored at the time toward what their goals are at the time. So our goal always for patients is good health.
Yes.
So this has been linked to heart disease because it can be linked to high cholesterol.
Okay.
It is definitely linked to insulin insensitivity. And what I mean by that is that patients produce the normal amount of insulin, but their body doesn't process it.
Okay.
So it is tied to being overweight or having issues with obesity. And we're not sure what comes first.
Okay.
We're not sure if being overweight or obese can increase your risk for having it, or if just the hormone imbalance will make it more difficult to maintain weight or lose weight.
Okay, interesting. So definitely a larger health picture there.
Correct.
All right, so speak with your doctor. Okay, well, thank you so much, Dr. Rice, for being here, telling us about this. We appreciate your insight.
Thank you.
No problem. Stay with us. We're back right after this.
The National Home Furnishing Sale has come to home furniture with recession buster deals store-wide. Get up to an extra 15% savings from all of our best furniture factories. Hurry in, factory direct savings won't last long. The National Home Furnishing Sale at Home Furniture ends Wednesday.
National Democrats are spending millions on deceptive ads like these that lie and try to confuse you. Why? Because Democrats like Harris and Baldwin don't want you to focus on their radical record, allowing men to compete in girls' sports, funding a clinic that offers transgender therapy to minors without parents' consent, giving stimulus checks to illegals while Wisconsin families struggle. Baldwin and Democrats want you to focus on anything but their radical agenda.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
Blaine's Farm and Fleet's fall jean sale is going on now, and all jeans are on sale. We're so confident we have the right brand, style, and fit for you that we'll give you a free $5 Farm and Fleet gift card for every pair of jeans you buy. Like men's Rustler jeans, just $15.99. Rewards members save an extra $1. Men's Special Buy Carhartt jeans, 40% off, just $17.99. And shop store-wide savings like 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic Oil, $30.99.
Small businesses are the backbone of our community. These places employ us, sponsor the Little League team, and feed and clothe us. That's why I'm proud of the work I've done to support our business community. I know that the side of the aisle you're on matters less than being on the side of our main streets.
No party has a monopoly on good ideas.
I'm Steve Doyle, and I'm working for our businesses, working for our communities, and I'm working for you.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal, come have a taste of Wisconsin.
America's Dairyland.
As in real dairy.
It gives Culver's fresh frozen custard its famous rich and creamy flavor. Like really rich.
So rich.
Rich and creamy.
And our cook-to-order Butterburgers?
They're topped with, you guessed it, Wisconsin cheese.
But it's the smiles we put on your face with every meal made just for you.
That really makes our hearts melt.
From Wisconsin with love. Welcome to Delicious.
As the mom of a daughter, I'm livid that boys are now being allowed to compete in girls' sports. It's just wrong, and I blame Tammy Baldwin. She voted to let biological men into women's sports. Worse, Baldwin co-sponsored legislation to force girls to share locker rooms with biological men. Tammy Baldwin is failing to keep our families safe. Tammy Baldwin's extreme values are wrong for Wisconsin. Fix Washington PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Introducing the Organic Avocado Mattress, a premium sleep solution that offers the perfect blend of comfort and sustainability at Home Sleep Express. Right now, pay no interest for 3 years, plus get free white glove delivery on an avocado mattress from Home Sleep Express.
Welcome back. It's 6:52. Time for your morning news now. In the wake of Hurricane Helene, millions are still without power this morning, complicating recovery efforts, gas shortages, and spotty cell phone service. There's also a rising death toll. The monster storm cut a devastating path stretching more than 600 miles across several states. In hard-hit North Carolina, communities are underwater. Supplies are having to be airlifted in. Wow, look at that. And tensions are escalating between Israel and Lebanon. President Biden planning to speak with Prime Minister Netanyahu, stresses avoiding all-out war. National Security Council's John Kirby notes Hezbollah's weakened leadership benefits Israel and the region. CBS News reports Hezbollah's missile capabilities have been significantly reduced since the weekend death of its leader. A major port strike could start this week. If that happens, it could make it harder for you to find your favorite foods and products. Union workers at 3 dozen facilities covered by 14 port authorities from Maine to Texas are threatening to walk off the job this week. The deadline, 12:01 a.m. tomorrow night. It could be the most disruptive strike the U.S. has seen in nearly 5 decades. Economists say the potential strike would impact supplies of items like chocolate, alcohol, fruits, hot peppers, and European cars. Former President Trump made a stop in Prairie du Chien over the weekend, delivering remarks on the U.S.-Mexico border and immigration. His third visit to the Badger State since becoming the nominee comes just weeks after an undocumented immigrant was arrested in the city. He's currently facing numerous charges, including sexual assault, strangulation, and battery.
This animal crossed Kamala's wide-open border, along with hundreds of thousands of others that are worse than him,
Trump also said the situation at the border has gotten worse since the Biden administration. This week, the spotlight will be on the running mates, J.D. Vance and Tim Walz, getting ready for the vice presidential debate. That's tomorrow. It'll air right here on News 8 Now. And Oktoberfest final day kicked off with a beloved tradition, the annual Parade Marshal Pancake Breakfast. Former parade marshals served up a feast of pancakes, sausage, and orange juice. The long-standing event does more than just fill bellies. Organizers say it brings the community together one last time before the festival comes to an end.
Just a fun day, and for all of us parade marshals to come together to put on a nice event for the community.
It raises money for the Oktoberfest Parade Marshals and the North Lacrosse Business Association. What do you want more right now, Art? Pancakes or coffee?
I think I'm going to get both.
Yes.
Pumpkin latte for you?
Yeah.
All right, and away we go, my friend. Hey, you're looking at highs today. That'll be pretty nice and warm. So bear that in mind. It's going to be up in the upper 70s to the low to middle 80s. Then in the evening hours, we're looking at 75 and at 7 p.m. Then we cool it on down to the 60s. But believe it or not, we may see the overnight lows to get a little bit more chilly. Yeah, check it out. We're going to see some overnight lows holding on to at least some 40s, possibly even cooler with some of that colder air coming in with a cold front on the way. Highs for tomorrow looking pretty nice as well. If you like temperatures in the 60s, I think some of you do, though.
Sounds good.
82 today, 67 tomorrow, 75 with more 70s on the way, my friends.
All right, well, Prince fans may soon have a reason to don the raspberry beret and drive your little red Corvette around town. Airbnb opening a new Prince-themed rental home in the Twin Cities. The new property is the actual house featured in the 1984 Purple Rain film and has been renovated to highlight the star's musical career and pay homage to the 80s lifestyle. The one-night stay in the home not only offers a once-in-a-lifetime experience, you get to feast on food curated by Prince's former personal chefs. Wow, a special When Doves Cry spa treatment. All right, well, what's the price?
Apollonia going to be there?
Wonder what the price is going to be, but yeah, it's not too far away.
No, that's great. That's going to be very popular. It's going to be very popular.
I think so, yes. Well, thank you so much for starting your morning with us. We will see you back here at noon. Until then, enjoy your Monday.